All right, guys. Coach Barrick here. We're doing a frame by frame. So we have Mark here, and he's doing the semifinal complex. It's 3 cleans, 2 front squats, and then a jerk. So we're just going to break this down. This isn't a super heavy weight for him, Mark. It's actually relatively light, but we're going to see what we see. So he's set up. I'd like to see that set up a little bit, set up a little bit more, especially in the shoulders. Like, he's doing a pretty good job, but there's a little bit. I think we can sit back a little bit more, the hips down just a little bit, get the shoulders back, set the lats up, and then bring that head up. You notice he's kind of looking down. Again, this is a light weight for him, so that might be. He picks it up there at the start, but I like to see it start up higher. So the pull is looking pretty good. What I would like to see, what we see here, it kind of comes out a little bit. I like to see those knees come back a little bit more. I'd like to see those knees come back and that bar just drag up those legs, but not a bad position. Now, I really love this position. I have a nice flat back. The heads are up, the chest are up, the chest is up. I like that position a lot. I'd like to see that bar a little bit closer, so I don't think it's making contact until right there. I'd like to see it drag up that lower thigh. So, on that knee, it should be dragging up those legs. I'd like to see that. I like how he's staying in his feet. There's a little bit of movement in the feet, but not too bad. Staying in feet, heels. Now right here, we can start coming up onto the toes a little bit. That's honestly, that's pretty good. What I love the straight arms. Really like that. The last time I did a video with Mark, he was bringing his head too far back, like he was looking at the ceiling and he was getting overextended, and looks like he's worked on that. And we're just getting a nice extended position. The arms are straight. That looks really, really good. Now, this is where I can start seeing some things that we want to do. This bar looks like it's coming out a little bit, like out away from him. And notice how the one foot looks different than the other one. So if we zoom in here, see how this foot, he's like up on like the tippy toe here, and then he's on the ball of his foot here. So, we got an imbalance in there somewhere. So that's something that we need to look into, is that imbalance on that pull. And then what happens is the feet don't really move. So it moved a little bit there on that left foot, but on the next ones, we're going to see where it doesn't do that. So I'd like to see those feet come from that pulling position, which is underneath the hips, and then we want those feet to move out to our squatting feet. So they should be just slightly wider, and then we get more of that jump. So what's happening is he's kind of like, I call it the whip, where that bar just kind of whips up and his body whips up, and that's why the bar is kind of coming out and around, and it's coming, getting away from him. And then we're going to see that in the turnover when he comes down here. That bar is kind of up there, and then boom, it's going to crash on him. All right? So we got a little bit of, we got some area to improve right there. So let's come back for that next rep. Straight arms. See, this position I like better. So then that first rep, what we see is his butt is a little bit farther down. Notice how the shoulders are farther back this time now, and then his head is up. I like this position a lot better. So he's in a better position on this second rep than when he started that movement. And then we're gonna start pulling. Got a little wiggle in there, driving through the feet. So I can't tell, but if I had to guess, I bet the hook grip isn't in right now. And the reason is because the shoulders are coming forward. And what people have a tendency to do is to over grip. So that grip is kind of coming down a little bit, like the knuckles are pointed down to the ground. And then when the knuckles point down, the elbows have a tendency to bend, and the shoulders have a tendency to round as well. So if I had to guess, he might not have the hook grip in there, and it's hard to re-grip the hook grip, so he might just be trying to muscle that up. So having that hook grip in to get those lats a little bit better at the start, or get those lats activated, get those shoulders back would be good. And then nice straight arms. I like that. Feet are still flat. Feet are still flat. He's extending. So again, we have that imbalance in the pull. So we have the up on one toe on this side, and then he's on the ball of the foot on this side. And then that foot doesn't move that time, right? And then we have that crash, that crashing on him. And it's not like, this isn't a heavy weight for him, so he's catching it really high, but we can still see that bar turning over versus meeting it. I like to see a little more meeting of that bar. All right, let's finish it up. Again, I like that position, not too bad. So in this one, he does a really good job of getting his knees back. That's what I wanted to see on that first rep when I said the knees were kind of forward. Getting the knees back, this is good. We need that bar on us. Getting that bar on, dragging it up. So he gets a little bit on his toes a little early on this last one. A little bit of fatigue, again, with the toes. Feet don't move. We still have that whip. He's whipping that bar up, and then we have that catch. See how high that bar is right now? Away from his shoulder. Instead of him coming down to that bar, he's bringing the bar up to him. And then it's going to crash on him. And you can really see it on that one. Just shakes the shirt. All right. Now the front squats he just smokes these. Like, these look awesome. He has a nice high rack position for a front squat. It looks good. He keeps his head up. He keeps his chest up. The bar is out. His back against his throat. It's up on top of his shoulders. Looks really good. You can see he has a lot of wrist flexion. Ooh. He has a lot of wrist flexion there. So, this is probably pretty uncomfortable for him. Working on some of those lats and the shoulders will be a benefit in that front rack, and he knows that the front rack is a tough one for him, and we'll see that in the jerk coming up. The front squat, again, dynamite. All right, now we got the jerk. So we're just gonna go through that. We got a nice dip, relatively short. Knees coming forward, feet are staying flat. I really like that. Driving through that. He comes to his heels maybe a hair early, but I mean, honestly, that's really solid. I really like that. Notice he's in this full extended position and that bar is still on him. I absolutely love that. The bar's still in contact and he's in extension. He can probably even go a little bit farther, but that's really, really solid drive. And now he's going to push himself underneath. Notice he regrips. He goes back into that jerk grip, and now he's getting to a support position on his hands. And you can notice that it looks like there's a little bit different grip on the side to side. So something to think about. Probably an imbalance there. But he pushed underneath that weight. That's really solid. The overhead position looks pretty good. Now where we can see some change is in the feet. So that foot, it's up, he's on the toe, he's up on the ball of his foot here, but I'd like to see it up a little bit higher and also more square. So what's happening right now is that foot is turning in, and then what's happening is this hip's going to come forward and this hip's going to come back. So he's not even underneath. So he's going to have a tendency where he's probably going to feel very unstable, especially in his hips. He's going to lose it in his hips and in his midline. So we want to square that back foot up. And the second thing I'd like to see is more bend in this leg. This is relatively straight. When we get a more bend in this knee, we can catch that bar lower, right? So instead of that bar being here, if I get that knee bent a little bit more, I can bring it down to here. So now I don't have to get that bar as high, and in theory I can lift more weight. So pretty solid. And then he's gonna, so in this one, this is a relatively lightweight. He stepped forward and then stepped back. Generally what I like to see is a slide back and then a step forward, but I do like how he took 2 steps. We don't want to take 1 step one direction or the other. We want a 2-step recovery in that jerk. Very nice. All right. Thank you, Mark, for letting me break down this video. Really appreciate it. If you guys have a movement that you would like broken down and kind of see where we can see some improvements, shoot me a message and we'll check it out. Thank you guys. Cheers.